Yay, we're recording. Hey, Jesse. Here we are again playing Call of Duty Grounded. We're excited about this game. I feel like it's going to be a really good session. I'll just do a round of introductions first. Just like, I don't know, tell me like your name, pronouns, and then I guess like what interests you or excites you about like this genre. So, like, I'm Lauren. I use she, her pronouns. I am the champion of like story game bullshit. So what I love about this game and the genre is the element of like dreamy surrealism, weird stuff that you can bring into this game space. But then also being able to like anchor it in a lot of like interesting themes around like self-discovery and learning about yourself and that kind of thing. I feel like I experienced that on a deeper level to when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was just like, I just want to went around with all these like wonderful lions, and I this is gonna be embarrassing, but like I got my dad to like play like make believe like Alice like Wizard of Oz and stuff when I was a kid. So I was just so into the movie. But yeah, that's what I am super interested in. How about Asher?
I'm Asher. They, them pronoun. I got interested in this because my friend's really into Tim Burton, and I hadn't seen anyone else like mention that in an RPG. So that was really cool. And yeah, I've just been into this like surreal exploration in RPGs recently. So I think that's really cool. Yeah, it also reminds me of like Pokemon. I saw people like deconstructing Pokemon and like how weird and scary the world would actually be. So it's fun to like take things apart and realize how weird they are under the surface.
I love it. Yes, I agree with all of that. How about you? It's David, right? You go with David?
Sorry, lost my mute button there. Yeah, I'm happy with either. David, I use he, him pronouns. I was just going to apologize briefly. I'm full of cold at the minute, so if if you have any difficulties hearing me or whatever, just ask me to repeat. I mean, I'm kind of quite interested in the sort of like children's fantasy, young adult type stuff as a genre, and I think it's something that's actually like surprisingly rarely covered in role-playing games as general, which seems really odd to me. And the few games that are out there, none of them's ever really kind of quite got what I want out of that sort of game. So I'd be really interested to see how this is and yeah, where we get to with it.
Oh, excellent. I hope it delivers what you're looking for. And Dana.
Hi, my name is Donna. He, him pronouns. Yeah, I'm really excited to see how this goes because, as everyone has noticed, this isn't really a well-covered genre, or at least feel. And I think in terms of touchstones, I'm really there for The Labyrinth. It's probably one of my favorite films, even now. So yeah, excited to play.
Excellent! Yay, Liz! I'm so jazzed. I'm trying to like slow down because I know I talk very fast and I get excited, but and then yeah, just keep my shit together. Awesome. So what we'll do now is we'll go through the typical like character generation all together, and do a bit of like world building as well, and then we'll hop into introducing all of our. Yes, we'll take a break like around the every hour mark for like 5-10 minutes. Seeing if people are going. So if you pop over to the girl tab, this is where we get to meet our protagonist for the story. She will just like talk about how we will all play the girl. It's like a collectively shared character. Like if you've played Fall of Magic, she's just like a character that everyone will get some chance to embody throughout this game. So like Jesse and I were like, oh, we'll put in a bunch of cool prompts to help you guide like how to play her and like what her life is like, and I'm really flesh out like who she is as a person to give her like make her feel real. So it's easier to like play her and play out her story. So as the girl, you are a 12-year-old girl. You are not of this find your way back home. Home isn't perfect. In fact, there's a lot of hard and unfair things about it, but it's still home. There are people there who love you, who probably miss you right now and are wondering why you haven't yet come inside for supper. Just to note, there's a little like sort of girls' principles bullet list there. So if ever you find yourself thinking, I'm not quite sure what to do or how to react or respond to the situation, that list is always like a good one to come back to. It's mostly about being very like asking probing questions and kind of like being that sort of inquisitive like kid who gets into trouble and that kind of thing. What else? Yes. So I'll explain sort of like the her moves and what those manners are and stuff in a second. But for now, let's talk about who this person is. There are a bunch of drop-down menus. So what I'll do is I'll just go around like in our wee circle and ask you to fill them in. I'll go with like name superiority. So Asher, the first question is, your family has love, but no. And then on the drop-down list, there is calm, curiosity, money, time, or trust. So what is our home life lacking?
I like calm.
Excellent.
Things are always happening.
Yeah, I love that. So our family has love, but no calm. So our name is Serena. David, what color is our hair? Is it ashen, like freshly blown tufts of dandelion, golden, like a sun-dappled field of barley, auburn, like the fiery leaves of autumn, mahogany, like rich, expensive imported chocolate, or raven, like river on a moonless night?
Oh, that's those are all really nice. I think I'm going to say auburn, like the fiery leaves of autumn.
Nice, I love it. And then, what do we sound like when we speak? Do we sound bubbly like a flowing brook, warm like a summer breeze, soft like a downy feather, cool like a marble statue, or dreamy like a cotton candy cloud?
I think we sound soft like a downy feather.
Aww. I love this. It comes to this point, and I'm like, I love this girl already. It's like it says so much about her. It's like, she wants calm and just like super soft, but has this like real fiery hair. I love it. Excellent. So we'll come back around. Asher, what is your prized possession? Is it something stolen, something living, something you made, something natural, something given, something domestic?
Oh, do we lose David? I'm trying to think what it would actually be. Right?
Oh yeah, yes, that will be a follow-up question.
What would be something domestic? Is that like sheets or I don't know?
Here we go.
Maybe we could go with Hitchhiker's Guide and say it's a towel.
A towel.
I don't know if that would be domestic.
I guess anything can be domestic, like anything around the home, or like egg beaters, couch cushions. I don't know, whatever. An egg timer. I know. I guess I'm hungry. My brain is going to the kitchen. I mean, Dana, did you have thoughts on what our something domestic can be?
So the option is something domestic, right? So is this so something that is used around the house, right? It's not anything outdoorsy.
I don't know if it's just the power of suggestion.
Was it David?
No, I was going to say I was wondering about keys, but I don't know if that's just from the power of suggestion from the picture of Alice there.
Keys is an interesting one. Keys has a lot of like curiosity about it. Like, so I know that when I was a kid, like I kind of dug finding random keys around the place because I totally was like, where could this go? Like, I wonder where this leads her.
Is it supposed to be something that she can carry easily? I'm wondering, maybe it's something like a lamp, like one of those old-fashioned oil lamps.
Oh, that's also cool.
Is there a time period this is set, or are we just...
we get to choose. That's the next thing, which is a good question to ask now, I suppose. Is are we feeling a contemporary game or like a sort of more Victorian game? We could have a contemporary girl who likes really Victorian stuff in this case, who loves like this old like oil lamp that is totally cool. But yeah, people are feeling like a contemporary era or like a sort of more Victorian era or anywhere in between.
I was imagining like Blaze in the Dark, like very industrial, right? Instead of Victorian.
Oh, cool. How about our other plays?
Well, one of the options for terrain was industrial, so that's a good idea.
Yeah, maybe.
I kind of like the idea of a life that kind of spans. So it's like set in the modern age, but maybe it's kind of an old-fashioned house. Maybe that's been in the family for a long time, so the kind of look and feel is kind of Victorian. But that might kind of cut across our question in the future, right? In terms of what home life is like and what.
That's all good. The more callbacks, the better. I mean, yeah, if people are digging this oil lamp, it's been in the family for ages. I'm totally digging it. Excellent. So I guess our prize position is like in a large old oil lamp. Ooh, and then I guess I have follow-up questions for the table. Is this like do we have this in our room? If this is like our possession, like it's like what about this lamp is like, is it ours and not like the family's?
If this was modern, maybe there was like a power outage, right? So it was kept in the room and then just never left, right? Like it's a token of.
Oh yeah, I mean, does it still
like,
work?
safety.
It sounds like it might be like broken but still loved, if that's the case.
I don't know if that has to be broken. Why would it have to be broken?
Oh, awesome. Cool. So it's still working. Awesome. I love it. So let's talk about Kat's biggest fear. Sorry, Serena's biggest fear. She was Kat in the previous game. David, what is Serena's biggest fear? Is it absence? So darkness, silence, isolation, rage, things like fire, monsters, earthquakes, humiliation, things like bullies, imperfection, and failure, or instability, things like paralysis, illness, and poverty.
I feel like the obvious choice here, I think, is to go for absence, specifically darkness.
Ooh, yeah. I love that. Yeah. Ooh, that's such a good one. Considering we had this huge oil lamp. Can we think of a time where like when was Serena the most afraid of darkness?
I think so. I think the her family's quite active, and I think for whatever reason, Serena had been left at home on her own one night when all the electricity went out, and she was left on her own in the dark.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that so much. Excellent. And that brings us to Donna. What does Serena want to be when she grows up? This can be as weird as you like. It can be as practical as you like. We've had science witches. We've had. I always see the example. My poor brother. Like he wanted to be like a pterodactyl when he grew up because he wanted to fly. So yeah, again, it can be as weird or practical as you like for our wee Serena.
I think I might go mundane and say she wants to be a librarian because, that's always quiet, right? As we all know, if we lean
Yes,
into the
yeah.
trope,
I love it.
she can tell other people to shush.
I was gonna ask, is that part of it? Like she can like tell like other people this stuff. I love it. That makes a lot of sense. I guess does she do a lot of reading in her spare time then, or does she try to do a lot of reading if she's like aspires to be a librarian?
Yeah, I imagine if you have a lamp, you have to use it, right?
Oh yeah.
Maybe not under the covers if it's an oil lamp, but
So, like,
on the bedside locker.
yeah, I love that a lot. Excellent. Oh, I feel like I relate to Serena on a very real level.
If the house lacks Cam, she is maybe sharing a room with siblings, and this is a constant annoyance to them that she has the light on.
Yes, that segues
Keeping
really.
them awake.
It segues really neatly into our home life questions. So, like, for home life, yeah, how many siblings does she have? It sounds like she's sharing a room. Potentially has like a couple.
I think she only has a few siblings, but there are a lot of like cousins and
Oh yeah,
like more extended family at the house too. Like this is a big house that has been in the family for generations, so
yeah, that's such a
they're
good point.
using it as much as they can.
Yeah. Let me just pull up my other question list. Oh yeah. So what else do you want to know about Serena? I guess what chore does Serena hate doing? Asher.
Sure. I think it's something like early in the morning, right? So it's still dark. She has to go and turn on the lights before the sun gets up.
That is so.
Maybe.
Yeah, I love it. She faces her fear daily. Then.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe this is what she uses the oil lamp for. Maybe she has to go like change the laundry or something that was overnight before it goes bad.
Yeah. Excellent. I also want to know, yeah, David, what does Serena like to do for fun when she's not reading or doing horrific chores that tap into her deepest fears?
I think she I think that she likes to draw as well.
Oh,
yeah. So I think she sort of has a little sketchbook and
I love it.
Sort of both in the house and sort of outside in the gardens and the so forth.
I love it. I have to know, like, are her drawings very practical, like still lifes, or are they like weird fantasy, like kinds of things, or both?
I think a bit of both. Yeah, I think a bit of both.
Nice. And what drawing was she most proud of? Looks like I know when I was a kid, I was like this is the my best picture I've ever done ever, and I'm gonna treasure it. I think probably still have them around somewhere.
I think it's like it's kind of a painting of well, a drawing of her family, but they're all kind of drawn as like animals and what have you to that kind of represent them.
That's love. I think I lost the end of that for some reason.
Oh, so is it? Yeah, am I still here? Yeah, cool.
Oh, yes, yeah.
No, saying yeah. So like a drawing of her family, but they're sort of depicted as animals that sort of and other creatures that sort of represent their personalities.
That's amazing. I love it. I love that it is such a bulky thing to do, which I resonate with. Ooh, okay. Let's kind of dig into. Ooh, I guess Donna, who is like our best friend at school and who is our bully?
Let me see. I think there is a boy called Marcus who loves reading almost or more than we do, and they're our bestie. And there is a girl called Penelope. She insists on being called, maybe.
I love
it. Who just hates us because we're weird because we draw these freaky drawings that aren't real.
Oh, is she the kind of bully who would like take our pictures and sort of like flash them around to everyone and be like, look at these like weird photos that Serena's doing again?
I think it's worse than that. If she finds them, she scribbles over them.
Oh my god, my sibling did that to me, and yeah, that hurts.
Well, scarred for life.
Yes, exactly. That's so good. Penelope like scribbles on our drawings. Oh, that's so fantastic. Ooh. And what else do I want to know about Serena? Let's think about. Ooh. Let's talk about. Yeah, these questions are bigger then. So, like, Asher, like, how do the other girls in class treat us?
I think they mostly ignore us. Right?
Oh,
We're all quiet,
yes.
trying to be our librarian.
Excellent. And then instead of that, David, how do the boys in class treat us?
I think probably very similar, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, not necessarily in a what do you call it, in a intentional way, but I think just due to the fact that she doesn't really do anything to draw attention to herself.
Oh. That is so sweet. Like a little bit sad, which is my favorite flavor of RPG game. Ooh. Yeah. I think anything else I want to know about Serena? I think I'm good. I think I have a really good idea of Serena. She looks like someone who just wants to be left alone more or less, and do her strange drawings and be in quiet places and be in calm places, and isn't super interested in hanging around a lot of chaos or getting involved with everyone. Just wants to be in her own little corner of the world, but in a fully lit area. So now that we have a really good idea of Serena, what I'll do now is quickly talk to her moves and her manners. So you'll notice that she has 3 moves. We're trying to keep the cognitive load low for being the girl, since it's going to be a lot of jumping between playing the girl and being a companion. But before we can talk about moves, we have to talk about manners. So you'll see underneath the moves there's a list of manners, and these are to represent kind of societal standards that are expected of young women, that we're going to say fuck you to pretty much throughout this game. So that's the best way I can think of describing it. So in this case, there's a couple of pressures on Serena to act and behave in certain ways in her everyday life, which are things young ladies must never talk back to their elders, must never tell lies, must never acknowledge imperfections, must never soil their hands or clothes, must never complain about their duties, must never hurt other people, must never take up too much space, and must never make demands. And I feel so what we're going to do to get practice writing manners and beliefs and stuff is to pick a manner that we feel Serena is already challenged in her life based on what we know of her, and then writing a belief together to represent that.
Oh no, you froze.
Is it the first one you said?
I said you froze for me.
Which one? Sorry, I'm having a hard time catching that one word.
You froze for me.
Oh, I froze. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
How much did I freeze?
All
of it?
I know we're supposed to write a belief, but I didn't get much after that.
Oh, yes. So, yes, we're going to pick one manner that Serena already disregards, and then we're going to write a belief together about it. So, which one of these manners do we think that Serena is already broken, I guess?
Maybe it's the acknowledge imperfections, because I think doing those animalistic portraits of her family, she's picking out their niggly flaws, right?
Yeah.
I was tempted by that one as well. Yeah.
Excellent. Let's do it. That sounds amazing. So, what belief have we come up with ourselves illustrating that? So this can be a self-facing belief. So I believe I am the greatest, or it can be a belief about how the world operates. I've had adults always say one thing and mean another. So yeah, whatever is appropriate for yes.
How about something like honesty is important?
Ooh.
Right, so it plays off the should not tell lies, but it's a little bit slanted differently, right?
Yeah,
saying things how they really are isn't
maybe
just not telling lies.
Maybe something about compassion, right? Acknowledging things lets us feel compassion for them.
Honesty is beautiful, or honesty is there's beauty in being honest, or there's beauty in acknowledging flaws, or that kind of thing. How are you feeling, David?
Yeah, I was thinking, something something along those lines.
Excellent. How are people feeling? Is something there is beauty and honesty. Is that kind of like hitting on that kind of thing, like feeling for both of those things?
That sounds good. There's beauty and honesty.
I just want to take a breath.
oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was maybe beauty and truth.
Oh yeah, truth is always an interesting one. Yeah.
Should we avoid the never telling lies manner? Can we have a belief for both?
Yeah, we can totally have a belief for both of them, I think. Because it can always be like the flip side of like sometimes you do need to keep things secret. Like I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like when we come to it. I think there'll be an interesting place to look at. Actually, I've never had conflicting beliefs. So that might be interesting. Excellent. So, I love Sabrina so much. So what we're gonna do? Okay, so I'm gonna quickly talk about her moves. So like never written belief, which is amazing. There is beauty and truth. I'll talk about the moves. So one of her moves is when you face a challenge by refusing to mind your manners, name the manner you're rebelling against and roll. So this is very much like your learning about the world, challenging what you know of it, and writing beliefs as a result to overcome problems. Her second move is when you face a challenge by standing firm in your convictions, take 1 die for each relevant belief and roll using the best 2 dice. This is more or less advantage. We'll be rolling like 2d6 and then adding 3d6 or 4d6 or 5d6 depending upon how many beliefs like you're bringing into overcoming this challenge. This is very much like the girl being able to like express and vocalize like everything that she's come to learn about the world and using her voice to like shape what's going on around her. And then the third move is when trying to get some answers about this world or its inhabitants, ask the GM your question. If you're willing to participate in a peculiar activity, your answer will be surprisingly and clear and helpful. If you're unwilling to answer, your answer will. If you're unwilling, your answer will take the form of a riddle. So there's like this sort of 3 moves. More or less, how we've been handling moving the girl from one player to another is by whenever you trigger one of these moves, we'll move her to another player to embody. It's largely so the person playing her has time to write a belief while we're still playing, and also to sort of like give someone else like a chance to embody this girl. Alternatively, because this is a conversation game and it's all about collaboration, if you're ever like, I want my companion to have some spotlight, we'll shift the girl in as well. Trying to like make a nice set. But at the moment, most of the time, it's when after Sabrina does a move, then she'll move to another player. Awesome. We're coming up to our hour almost. So what we'll do, I think, is we'll have time to make some companions, and then I think kick off into some play. So we have on the table today the Beastie, the Construct, the Ogre, the Runaway, and the Mythic. I'll quickly give a gloss on all of these, and then if one or more of them are calling out to you, we can have a chat about that. So we have the Beastie. You're an animal, and like all civilized animals, you speak proper English, with the notable exception of your linguistic talent. You appear and behave as you would any other animal. When playing the Beastie, you should give the girl unprompted advice, spout stories about this world, and be rude to authority figures. For the Construct, you were crafted by human hands and imbued with life through magical means. You might be a doll, a toy soldier, a scarecrow, a robot, or something else. But whatever you are, you've been given a human form and mostly human behaviors. When playing the Construct, you should follow others' lead, figure out what it means to be real, and use your body as an object. We have the Ogre, whose people are giants of this land, towering over the girl at 3 or 4 times her size. You may be covered with fur or adorned with horns, but you're more human than beast, even if you don't speak much. When playing the Ogre, you should make yourself small, bring your size into it, and be brave when it counts. We have the Runaway, who ran away from home and found a door to another world. But you decided to stay, and now this is your home. It's scary and lonely at times, but at least you're free to explore and be yourself. When playing the runaway, you should let danger excite you, provide expertise in a crisis, and fear what you run from. And then as the mythic, you are a rare being of legend and fantasy, a dragon, Pegasus, phoenix, or some other great majestic flying beast. You may allow the girl to ride upon your back, but you are no one's steed. When playing the mythic, you should honor your kin, inspire the girl, and make the ultimate sacrifice. And then one note about the mythic that is not on this playbook is the mythic has the grand ability, has grand wings and stuff, and is a majestic flying beast, but they can't fly. Like that's their big like challenge to overcome is for whatever reason, whether they were injured or they lost their magic or that kind of thing, like they can't fly anymore, which is super sad. So are there playbooks people are digging on or that kind of thing?
I really like the construct. I want to talk to this, the flame of the scandal the girl has.
How about David and Donna?
They all look kind of interesting, to be honest.
Yay!
I don't have a strong preference at the minute.
I am flipping a mental coin between the mythic and the beastie.
Those were the two I was kind of thinking of most as well. Possibly the runaway, but yeah. So,
Okay. Okay, I've rolled a dice, so I'm letting a die decide my fate. I am playing the mythic.
Excellent.
Cool.
And does that make your decision easier, David? Or he's
Sort
still...
of. I'm kind of deciding between the runaway and the beastie.
Excellent. I guess it depends on what you're in the mood for. Like the beastie does a lot of like talking themselves up and telling stories and being that kind of like aristocratic kind of punk in that sense. And then the other runaway is very focused on almost kind of the same, like having these grand adventure stories, but being more focused on like exploring and escaping and having sort of like talking yourself up a lot, but then being kind of like vulnerable and afraid.
Cool. I'll go for the runaway. Go for a snap decision there.
Awesome. Cool. So big. Construct a mythic. I'll just pull them over. So they're all on that tab and a runaway. Excellent. Just freaking note for myself here. Excellent. And then actually after that, I forgot to do the other thing that I added to this playtest, which we'll do after character creation, which will be interesting. But there should just be like 4 to 5 or 5 to 6 drop down menus just to pick from to flesh out our companion characters. Oh, I forgot to mention, these companion characters are all for you. These are, yes, this is the one character you'll have that you'll be embodying when you're not the girl, pretty much. Awesome. Let's see, everyone's picked their options. The last thing we'll do before we hop on break quickly is you'll notice there's like a tab called Add Band that's like to the left of the girl. So what I want to get a feel for is like just like the kind of place Serena would want to like escape to, like what would sort of be enticing or like freeing or like relieving about like falling through into this like really strange magical land. So this is kind of like, yeah, the world creation tailored to like Serena. So like for our wee Serena, what's our, I guess like this could be like pick as many as we feel like, maybe like up to 3 for each of like this terrain societies, and then 1 for like what troubles this land. So like for terrain, what kind of like what kind of like terrain do we feel like fits Serena? And again, this can be up to like 3 or so, whatever is interesting for us. Is she kind of like an industrial person because she's got this into these oil lamps?
That's true, but I imagine industrial would have a lot of people.
Oh, that's a good point. Very loud. Yeah. So maybe is she more of like a sort of lakes kind of person, or like a space person, or like a.
Yeah, I was thinking of space, like the Little Prince. All the little planets you can travel through.
Neat. How about David and Donna?
I was thinking something along the lines of mountains or desert, something maybe remote, but that could work with space as well, right?
Yeah. Because Wonderland is weird, we'll get to travel to like pretty much all these locations. So they can be as disparate and different as we like. Like the Elemental, yeah, mountain sounds cool. That's different than some space. I think any kinds of like terrainy areas you're digging, David?
I'm thinking maybe forest, just to go for a bit of contrast with the other 2.
Nice, yeah. Oh, I like these space mountains and forest. Excellent. Oh yeah, it's a shade tree by in the forest. I love it. Awesome. And then in terms of like the societies we were like are interested in looking at, we interested in like more like kingdoms or like metropolises, like big cities, like more quiet villages, sort of nomadic peoples, or like I guess it's like formal gatherings of people.
I like Kingdom. Like, I feel like she wants recognition by a lot of people, you know?
Oh, yeah. Being a librarian. I feel like that's full. Librarian. No shade on Ryan.
Yeah, I was thinking kingdoms as well.
Awesome. Is there like one other society we want to explore? So we could have, I think, up to 2 for this is probably fine.
Well, we have to have at least one nomad, right? Because we have the runaway.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. And then the one thing that troubles this land is that chaos, gloom, greed rules, beauty lies, mistrust, beasts, or like excess.
Should it be lies?
Oh, it could totally be lies.
Yeah, that works for me. The other one I was thinking was Gloom, maybe, but I like Lies as well.
Oh, I know we could probably do Lies and Gloom.
Very
What
Tim
is
Burton.
that kingdom? Very Tim Burton. Oh, gloomy space. Awesome. I think, yeah, I think I'm feeling good about that. Awesome. So yeah, I think we're actually just come around to like our hour mark. So we might take a 10-minute break. And then come back. We can get Serena to Wonderland, introduce her to some companions, and then explore this like weird mountainous space forest place. So yeah, I'll see you guys at like 40, 44, 45 past the hour, I think. Yeah. So I'll catch you cats soon. Did everyone back? I think so. Let's double check to see if Ash is back and then we can get started. Awesome. We've got the crew back. So for getting Serena to Wonderland, what we're going to do is we're just going to sort of like freeform narrate how like she's living out her regular everyday life, and then how she finds her door to Wonderland. And then, yes, from there we'll get some scenes where she gets to meet all of her wonderful companions. So let's get us kicked off. I picture this happening like on a school day. It's probably like a rather overcast school day. There's like the threat of rain, but it's like quite rained yet, and like everyone in our class is like a little bit worried that it's gonna like open, like the skies will open up like over lunchtime, and then it's like an indoor lunchtime, which are never fun for them anyway. But I think we sort of like zoom in on Serena, who's like doodling in class. There's like the teacher up front who's like writing on a board, but like she's not super paying attention. Her mind is like a million miles away. And I want to know, like, Donna, what is like she daydreaming about as like she's in class?
I think she is daydreaming about it actually raining because she wants to be inside. So she's doodling like these rain clouds dumping this torrential shower on top of Penny's head.
That's amazing. Yeah, so we get this like even like more zoomed in shot of like her like pen scratching on the page, and like these like dark stormy rain clouds with like a sad Penny. Ooh, like Asher, what animal is Penelope?
Maybe she's like a clown, like an actual animal.
Was it a clown, you say?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So yes, we see like this very sad Penelope clown, like with like I guess like a very like stereotypical like big red nose and like sort of sad like clown paint and stuff, like dressed up yeah, in very like, clown garb. The bell for lunch goes, I think, and like everyone else in her class like gets up, and there's like that immediate activity around her, as everyone like puts their stuff in their bags, and like there's chairs scratching on the floor, and like kids like start talking to each other in the background and stuff. It's like really noisy. And I wonder, like David, like where does Penny start? Sorry, where does Serena start hitting for lunchtime?
Yeah, I think she sort of finishes up the doodle, puts her closes her book, puts them away quite neatly in her bag, and yeah, then sort of heads out, and isn't it's just kind of like trying to think of the word, lost it. Yeah, just sort of kind of ambling down the corridor, really, not in a particular rush to get anywhere.
Oh, I think as she does, right? It's like there's that like flicker, like the lights as she passes like through the classroom and like hits the hallway. And I think like what's interesting. Yeah, I think like as she comes out, she like breaks into the hallway and there's like that hubbub of like kids again, so like gathering around to like go have lunch together and stuff, and then like the lights flicker again. Like Serena probably gets like that little unnerving feeling like in the back of her neck because like it's darker than usual. It's like very gloomy outside. And so I think like Donna, wait, like where does Serena go to like enjoy her lunchtime?
I think she's gonna sit. Maybe there's a basketball court or something where the older kids play, and usually there's none of her kind of age group who are there, and she just knows that they'll probably ignore her unless she's near them. So this is kind of a good place to hang out where no one will talk to her.
Yeah. I think we see her like go through this hallway heading towards like this basketball court, and again like I think the lights flicker again, but they go off for like a few seconds, and it sort of like bathes like the hallway in this much like dimmer than usual light. Like the clouds of her head have gotten like very, very dark. And I think as she's making her way out to this basketball court, like of course, she feels another shadow like come across her, and she like looks up, and it's Penelope from class. He like makes a grab for her bag, and like pulls out her sketchbook. Says like, "Oh, you just where do you think you're going?" Oh, yeah, I guess like Asher, what is like Penelope's like less than pleasant nickname for us?
So her name is Serena. Maybe it's like Sriracha.
Sriracha, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, she says like, where do you think you're going, Sriracha? And like makes a grab for like your sketchbook. Like, what do you do?
I think I'm gonna try to trip her.
Oh yes. What does it look like? This is like free form narration, so you can like narrate however you want us to look.
Yeah, I think I just turn, right, grabbing my sketchbook, and then like step on one of her feet.
Oh,
right,
nice.
so she's trying to grab it and can't really move.
Yeah, I think like she like keeps like a tight hold on it, right? And it's like but she eventually like you wrench it from her hands, but I think like she manages to like catch a corner, and I want to know like what picture did she like tear when she did?
I think it's like a building on top of a building.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah. Like maybe I was drawing like the classroom inside of the building or something.
I love that so much. So like yeah, like we hear this like rip sound as like Penelope gets like the corner of a doodle we were drawing. And then I guess like yeah, like David, what do you do? Do you like flee to this basketball court?
Yeah, I think at that moment a teacher is going to sort of come around the corner and sort of say, "Girls, no fighting in the corridor," and Serena's just going to kind of wrench the book away and just sort of scamper off while Penelope sort of turns around and does her big "Sir, but we weren't doing anything," and you know. Oh, hello.
Oh, I think I
So-
lost everyone. Yeah, sorry, what was it again?
Yeah. So yeah. So she's like I said, I think the sort of teacher comes around the corner, and she's going to kind of grab the book and just sort of scamper off. Not quite running, obviously, because no running in the corridors. But while sort of Penelope's going to sort of turn around and kind of do that halfway between sort of giving lip to the teacher and sort of also sort of saying we weren't doing anything sort of thing. And yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, so we like hear like Penelope and like the teacher giving a bit of back and forth. It's like we just like book it for the outdoors. And I think what happens is like the closer we get to the doors to freedom, right, to this like basketball court, we can just like find peace and quiet. Is like the lights flicker again and then like go out, and it's much darker than before, as if like it's nighttime outside, but darker than nighttime, like this pitch black kind of like prickly feeling to the air. And I think Serena opens the door out into the courtyard and finds that it's just like midnight pitch black and like everyone's gone. Usually there should be like kids playing, like the older kids playing basketball out there. There should be like kids like lying out on the grass, like enjoying the sunshine before it like pours rain. But it's just like empty quiet, which is, I imagine, quite an odd feeling because it's dark as hell, but it's also very peaceful. Dana, what do you do?
I think we step back as if we know the school is right behind us. And so in there, at least we'll be able to turn on a light or something like that. Maybe we don't quite understand exactly what's happened yet. So we're kind of stepping back into the safety of civilization.
And like, I think as you do, right, like you go to like turn around again and then you look over your shoulder and you realize like the door's gone. Like you're just lost. I not lost, but like you're just in this very like eerie school-like place that's not school at the same time. And I think when you look back from trying to seek solace like in the school behind you, it's like you see like another door in front of you. It's got like, as far as you can see, it doesn't connect to like any buildings, but it's edged in like this very like warm gold light, like the oil lamp from your home. And yeah, I guess, yeah. Do you go through your door, I guess? What's it look like?
I think I do. I think it's the only familiar thing, right, that I'm seeing. So maybe not enthusiastically, but kind of as if it's the only choice I can make, but not really liking that. Kind of reach out to touch the door, and maybe to look at the detail that reminds me of my lamp.
Yeah, what are the details in the store that like make it lamp-like?
Yeah, so I think it's that kind of classic brassy finish, right? And there's a hint of writing, but it's way too faint to make out. But I can feel it in the darkness.
Oh,
That there's some kind of maybe it's not writing, maybe it's like a filigree etching or something like that.
I love it. So yes, you feel these like I guess like engraved markings like on your hand as you go to like pull the handle and like it opens for you. And then I think as like we crack open the door, it's like we see like that very warm like oil lamp light like come to bathe like the rest of this space. And I think like, ooh, yeah, I guess like as you do, like you realize that there was this niggling voice like in the back of your head, like the darkness was impressing like some kind of feeling upon you that like didn't feel right, didn't feel like correct. And I guess I want to know, like, Asher, like what lie did this like light help chase away as you step through into this doorway?
What lie? We had the rain before, right? I don't think it was actually raining.
Ooh.
So maybe through the door you can hear the patter of rain hitting concrete or something.
I love that. Yes, that's a beautiful. So we hear like it's like patter of rain from like the other side, and you probably get that smell of like petrichor, and it's like a really inviting kind of rain, like when it's been raining on a sunny day, and it's like cool and refreshing, and like so different to like this gloomy, overcast, like thunderous, like dark, angry sky. So we see like Serena, like we zoom out a bit, so we see Serena like step through this door, like the crack of like light that bathes the like very grim sky with this like inviting light, and then like the door closes, and then we like I think we cut to like Serena coming out into a similarly like a very like gray, gloomy sky, but it appears like to be a lot more like filled with a lot more malaise and like heaviness as opposed to like anger and like boiling blackness. And in the distance, I think we see, not like a super distance, but there's like when she like scans the area, there's like this very it appears to be a kind of like township shrouded, like sort of hugged by these very like thick forests. And you can smell like that, like it has been raining recently, like this, that very pine needly, like soft, like smell of like wet earth. And the air feels very like wet and dewy, as if like it has a thicker quality to it than like the air back home. And this township, by and large, appears to be like a normal town. There's like a little silhouette of like a taller building in it that may be like evocative of like a castle. And I want to know from each of you, like, what about this place is so familiar, but what about it is also like impossible?
I think I had in my head that that her sister, like a big sister, repaired power lines, like climbed up on the power. What are they called? You know, the big pillars. So I think there are power lines going to the city, right? But they don't seem to be coming from anywhere. Like there's nothing else around. It's just a forest.
I love that so much.
I'm wondering if the kind of the tall castle that we saw first of all is like the exact same profile as maybe an old style church in the town where we live. So it's like an old Anglican style church or something like that. But it looks exactly the same.
That's neat. I know we kind of like lined a religion and fantasy. So I just want to check if that's okay with our table.
I think that's okay.
Cool. Awesome. Yes, I love that idea. Like it's very Anglican, like old church. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. The kind of what's the impossible thing that we notice when we look at it? The second moon that's just poking over the crenellation.
Same here. I'm such a bit of my like guilty pleasure, which is like multiple suns and moons. So that's lovely. I love it.
So yeah, I think the road into the town is lit with sort of like Victorian looking street lamps, those sort of quite ornate iron street lamps, which again, the light in them has that sort of oil lamp glow to it, though much brighter than it would be if they were actually oil lamps. And I think yeah, the one of the obvious things is a car will sort of drive past, and again, it probably looks maybe more like a you know, a sort of Model T type old timey car, and it's being driven by a sheep.
That's amazing. I love that so much. Excellent. Yay, so now we're at Wonderland. Let's meet some companions. So what we'll do is like each scene will just rotate who plays Serena interacting with like a companion. And let's have a look at our lovely companions. Ooh. These are all awesome. So let's have let's have Asher play Serena to begin with, if that's cool. And then I'm gonna ask like David, did you have in mind a way to bump into Badger? Or if not, I can think of some ideas.
I didn't have anything specifically in mind, but to be honest, I'm just happy having them come along the road. But if you've got anything in specific you want to bring in,
oh, I kind of like that. I like the idea of yes, we have like Serena just come through this door and like she's felt like this very like weird, dewy, thick, like rain in the air. There's like this second moon in the sky. There's power lines that don't seem to go in, like, from anywhere, but the town appears to be quite lit. And then there's like a sheep driving a car, and then she sees this individual like walking along the street toward her, not lost, just looking misplaced. So I want to know like Badger, like what does Badger look like when they're like coming down the road?
Yeah, so Badger is a boy, probably maybe a little bit older than Serena, but not much older. On first glance, he appears like a normal human boy. His clothes have probably got that kind of travel worn look to them. He's got kind of quite spiky black hair with just like the white patches at the temples. As he gets closer, his eyes appear to essentially be all pupil, kind of like a badger. And he is probably actually, you know, whistling nonchalantly as he walks along.
Yeah, and Serena, like, what do you do when you see this boy approaching?
I think first I'm looking at the door I came from, right? Is it attached to anything, or is it just like freestanding there?
I think it's just gone. Like it's just like apparated away from this space, leaving you in this like sort of on the roadside of this foresty area.
All right, so I guess I'll look back at the door and see Badger back there. And I'll say, did you see a door here?
I've not seen one. No. Should there be one here?
Well, I seem to have stepped through one. Where are you headed?
Yeah. I'm just on my way into town. They.
I suppose I'll join you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does the runaway have any like Marcus qualities about them? Like Marcus, the kid we are best friends with from school. He doesn't have to. I was just curious.
Not specifically. I don't think. No. But yeah. Yeah. So he'll say. Anyway, yeah. They call me Badger. What do you go by, Red?
Serena.
Serena, nice to meet you. Well, that's
Do you have like a pack or something that you're carrying things in there?
No, probably not.
Okay. Yeah, I think I would just be worried about the rain. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think
you...
he's maybe got like a little satchel sort of thing, but yeah, not like a big backpack or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's go and see if we can find somewhere to get out of this rain.
Well, there's the forest right here. We could go through under the trees.
Yeah, or we could probably go into town and scrounge up a little something to eat as well.
That sounds even better.
Awesome. I kind of like to see the two of you sort of like silhouetted a bit in this like Victoria, like oily lamp Victorian light as you like wander towards town. That was beautiful. How about we have let's meet our. I feel like our. Who should we meet next? So yes, Astrid, did you have in mind like how Steele was going to be on display as we enter this, as we head towards this township?
That's a good question. Well, I was imagining steel was made out of the power cables.
Oh, cool.
So maybe that's like where they came from, or where some of them go, or
are they like are they kind of a power source for this town? Like I could almost sort of picture them kind of like being part of like a power pole in town or something like that, or are they more like free moving around?
Yeah, maybe it's like a lightning rod or something. But like,
that's cool.
shaped like a person.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. I do like the idea of like if it's a bit of a walk into town, right? And it's like this guy does start to take on that sort of like angry quality from like back home, and it's like there is that like roll of like thunder as like a storm approaches kind of thing. And I think like yes, we'll have Donna, if you could be Serena as like you approach the township with Badger. And I guess like, yeah, what does Steele look like?
I put a little picture, but I think they look like a punk, but like made out of wire, right? So it's like a wrapped up wire.
Oh, cool.
Um,
That's badass.
and it kind of looks like her drawings, maybe, right? Like it's like a hand drawn kind of person, but made out of wire.
I love that. Kind of like sort of yeah, like a wiry stick figure almost, but like
Mhm.
yeah, that's super cool. So like yes, Serena, you see you like come closer to this township. You're still outside. It's like starting to rain a bit now. And you see this like person shaped kind of thing made of wires. It feels very familiar, like it's made of your drawings. Like what do you do?
So I think I grab Badger's arm and say, "What's that?" That, and then starts kind of opening my own bag where I have my notebook to to find the page if it hasn't been written out or scribbled over.
So I think as you do that, you see it move, maybe. Right, like Steel reaches up into the sky as the storm's coming.
Oh yeah, now that looks like one of your classic metal folk. That does. Not sure quite what they're doing around here at the minute, but we might as well go and introduce ourselves.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I think maybe she realizes that she's opening the book into the rain and quickly shuts it before she ruins her own drawings, and wanders up to Steel. Do they speak Badger? Are they like real people or?
Oh yeah, they're real as anything. All right. I'm Badger, and this here is Serena. How are you doing on this somewhat miserable day?
Miserable. This is anything but miserable. Can't you feel the electricity in the air?
Aren't you afraid you like rust out in the rain?
Rust. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. I guess you probably know about these things better than I do.
um, I guess I'll like shrink back down to get at your level, right? And like reach out, like a wet, um, metal-y hand.
So I guess I don't want to be polite, but I think it's obvious from the way she goes to shake Steele's hand that it's like kind of weirding her out a little bit. But she, pleased to meet you, and shakes your metal hand.
Pleased to meet you. Welcome to the city. I'm Steel. What brings you here?
Well, a strange door that disappeared. I'm not sure how to explain it.
I think I'll nod like that happens all the time.
I think as you're like chatting, you notice like yeah, as well as like the sky is like sort of darkening and like and there's another roll of thunder, suggesting like the storm is like coming closer and stuff. A very like flustered looking crow tries to like settle on Steel. Was like having a hard time getting purchased because like Steel was like moving and like shaking hands and stuff rather than being their usual like Ender itself. And I think like yeah, like squabbles at Steel like I need to get back to work.
Right, I guess I'll go back to my usual shape.
Thank thank you. And like, if you do go back to your usual shape, like the crow looks so much more relieved and like comes to, like settle like on your hands as it like pointed to the sky, and then like cocks a head down at Serena and says like, you're such a rude little human being, distracting people from their jobs, very, very important jobs. This is
you are the rudest crow I have ever spoken to.
I am not rude. I'm just trying to maintain order around this place.
But what about Steele? Like, he has to be your perch?
Yes, that is how things are done around here, isn't it, Steele?
Well, that doesn't sound very fair to Steele.
Steele, what do you think?
Well, it sounds like you're looking for some. You're looking to explore the city, so if you if you want to order, there's a food place right to the left.
Well, maybe Mr. Crow and Steele could join us and tell us all about this city.
Oh no, Steele couldn't do that. This is where Steele belongs. This is where Steele needs to be.
But if you were to, join us for supper, then he wouldn't need to be here for you.
Oh, if he's not here for supper, who is going to save us from the lightning?
Oh, to save you from the lightning?
Yes,
Mr. Crow, if he's going to save you from the lightning, I don't think you should be on top of him.
Wow, this is the safest place to be.
Well, where I come from, that's not the way lightning works.
Well, how does lightning work where you come from?
Well, it's going to hit Steele, and you're in the way.
Oh, no, Steele's going to like absorb all of the electricity. This is the safest place to be.
Okay.
You're coming from a very strange place.
I do, yeah.
Well, what do you want, Steele? Do you want to go and eat some food? Or do you want to stay here? No, you want to stay here, don't you? Yes, that's what you want.
I suppose I could show you around the city a bit, but I have to stay outside, like Raven says.
No, you have to stay here. This is where you belong. This is where the lightning's going to hit.
Well, you can get some food and bring it out.
That's a good Steele.
So Sunya will kind of lean over towards Badger and say, "Is this really the way things work around here?"
Well, people tend to muddle through as best they can. It's most people have their place and all of that, and cooperating to bring about this rich tapestry what we live in.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll go and grab some supper, and maybe when Mr. Crow gets bored, Steele can join us.
Crow looks very pleased. Like, you maybe get the feeling that people don't usually listen to Crow. But you guys are giving like Crow all of like the authority that Crow like respects and deserves. It's like you see Crow like sort of preening and like fluffing up a bit, rather like pleased that they've like managed to like command authority over this newcomer into town. And Crow says like, yes. This is the way things are meant to be. And as soon as you start to incite change, things like lightning rods like being dangerous, then that's when things start to go wrong. That's when things start to unravel. Isn't that right, Steele?
That's right. Don't fly too high, don't fly too low, right?
You were perhaps making a public display of agreeing with someone?
That sounds good. Let's have our first roll.
Yeah. So yes, I should say, when you're a companion, you usually roll 2d6. If you state how the girls' beliefs inspire you when making this move, roll 3d6 and take the 2 highest. And our girl's belief is there is beauty and truth. So if you feel like that applies, you're welcome to say how that you're weaving that into your approach, and you can take advantage. Yeah.
I'm not sure that she convinced me anything though. You know.
Great. So let's roll 2d6.
I got a 6. Great.
On a 6. Oh, okay. So on a 6 minus, after play, how are you offended? Okay, so like we just had yeah, so we've just we've just had Crow say, "That's right. That's how things always ought to be." If you, as soon as you try and change things, then things get things go wrong, and then you agree. Do you? What do you say to Crow? To agree again?
Not to fly too high or too low. And I think
I think Crow says like, "What are you saying that I can't fly very well? Are you saying that like I shouldn't just like spread my wings and I fly as high as I can? I can do whatever I like. I can tell you what to do. I own you." And you, like, points to the newcomer, says like, "You better listen to me because I know what's going on around here." Can't believe you would suggest that I can't fly.
I mean, can you fly, Mr. Crow?
I can fly very well. Yes, indeed, I can.
Like up to the tower.
Yes, I can fly to the tower. How dare you suggest that I can't fly to the tower? I can fly to the tower right now.
Okay.
it's like a race.
Yeah, it does sound like a race. Oh yeah, I like that idea actually. Like Crow even says like, "Yes, I will race you to the top of that tower. And I bet I can beat you there. I'll beat you 10 times faster than you could ever get there."
Race me
Yeah.
to the top of the tower, but I definitely can't fly.
You can't fly?
I'm just a girl. We don't have wings.
That's even better. I'm definitely going to win.
Okay.
So you want to race? You want to race him?
I'm not sure I'm going to race, but maybe I'll let him believe that I want to race. And then we'll just go and have supper.
Awesome. Ooh. So, are you? It sounds like you're almost facing a challenge by not minding your manners, because you're definitely lying.
Or am I kind of talking back to him? If I kind of have believed that he is in charge here, then he's kind of an elder, even though he's obviously not.
Yes. Yeah,
one of those maybe.
Whichever belief you feel like whichever manner, sorry, that you're not minding, feel free to state it.
Well, he certainly seems to be in charge of Steele, or at least Steele is allowing him to be in charge. So I think it's that. I've been arguing with him about what the proper thing to do is. Okay. I'm not sure what the belief supplanting that is, though.
That's look good, because we can come to that when
okay.
It's like you roll, and then we'll figure out the outcome, and then that will like color the belief. Yeah.
Okay. So I am just rolling straight, right?
Rolling straight, yeah.
Okay. I got I rolled twice. Or no, it didn't. It just refreshed. I got a 10.
Excellent. So on a 7+, how do you overcome the challenge? And then you get to strike out the manner and write a belief based on what you learned about yourself or the world in process. So yes, what do you say to Crow?
It's like, well, if you feel the need to prove that you can beat me in a race to the top of that tower, then go right ahead.
And you see Crow like sort of like fluff up again, like very like charged on like the insinuation that like Crow can't fly. And it's like, I will I will race you there and back before like you like small child. And like yeah, it's like you see like Crow like shake its butt and like get ready to like launch up, and it's like, all right, 3, 2, 1, go. Like sort of just a very like quick countdown, and then just like, you know, charges like off into like the sky, and we see like Crow spread like their wings against like this very surly sky, and get like another rumble and like maybe a flicker of like lightning behind Crow in the distance as like they take off this tower, like leaving all of you in like sort of the gentle patter of rain, now like Crow free with like the occasional like thunderous rumble. And then since we've triggered a move, what we'll do is let's have David, if David's around, take Serena, and then yes, Dana, you can write a belief about not talking back to elders, if that's the one you were hitting on. I'll just which I think we can write while David comes back from being off camera. So this one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking something about pride or egotistical people, maybe.
Ooh,
I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, like ooh. That's really interesting. Yeah, like ooh. Like pride. Ooh. I was like pride is almost like a thing you like wear to protect yourself. Like that almost is like kind of like a, or like I will like yeah.
Maybe something like people who preen themselves, don't have common sense or aren't paying attention to the obvious or truth or something like that.
Ooh, yeah. Like yeah. Ooh, yeah, like people who preen themselves are blind to like their truth. Yeah. Like pride masks, like adults use pride to hide the truth or like lie to themselves, or like pride. Yeah, any of those things, those kinds of words sound super cool to me.
Yeah, I'll type something in.
Excellent. And then yeah, it's waiting for dear old David to get back.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. You're back. Did you miss any of that, or like yeah?
Oh no. Sorry, I just yeah, that was just I've come for a second. It's
yeah. No worries.
Yeah. So I think yeah, we'll continue on into town and look for somewhere.
Awesome.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Steele, as the crow has left us now, why don't you come with us? After all, they do say that lightning never strikes the same place twice, so I'm sure your services won't be needed here any longer.
Yes, I think I'll put my arms over you to like shield you from the rain.
Cool.
Awesome.
So,
yeah.
have you always worked here in the city, I suppose?
Matters what you mean by here.
I've not visited this place before. I don't know how common it is for people like yourself to to be here.
I think we like make eye contact, right? I like stare at you. I'll use that move.
Yeah,
sure.
sure.
Want to figure them out.
Oh, neat. Yes. So this is. Let me pop to your character sheet.
2d6.
Oh yes, mirror. Yeah, when you roll, you stare at someone to figure them out. Do you feel like one of the girls' beliefs is inspiring you? Yeah, we have pride as a mask that thwarts self-awareness, which is like A+, and then there's beauty and truth.
Yeah, I like the truth one, but I don't know that that has to do with this place per se. And I got another 6 minus.
Oh no! So let's see. Mirror. Roll when you stare at someone to figure them out. So we have Steele staring at Serena. On the 6 minus, ask their player. Oh, what leverage do you have over me now?
I was trying to figure out Badger.
Oh, Badger.
He
Sorry.
was asking me about the city.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yes. Oh yes. Question. Yeah. I assumed that David was speaking as Serena.
Oh, okay.
But was David speaking as Badger?
No, was speaking as Serena. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Okay, then Serena.
Yeah, so ask on a 6 minus, yes, ask their player, which is in this case Serena, what leverage do you have over me now?
I think that maybe Steele isn't used to people taking that much interest in them. So they're kind of, I guess, kind of flattered and intrigued by Serena, and I think that's. So I suppose I suppose kind of the friendship. Sorry, the leverage is sort of her friendship, I guess.
Yeah, I think you've seen as much of the city as I have, right? Because I've just been standing in this one spot the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
I love it. And then I like the idea of our band of friends again, like taking off to like head further into town. And I feel like Dana, did you have like an idea in mind for like where Isolus would be chained?
So I think in the town square, kind of in the lee of the castle tower, there's like a small rickety lean-to, and Isolus is chained to the wall. There's like several great big rings embedded in the stone wall, and they're going around Isolus's neck.
Ooh, nice! I love it. So yeah, I feel like we see Serena, Badger, and Steele like wandering further into the town to like find a really good meal. There's probably another like louder like roll of thunder, another like sort of crack of lightning, and the rain's like coming down a bit heavier. So we get this like very like morose shot of like a chained like mythical beast to like this like lean-to. And like what does Isolus look like? Like yeah, describe their majesty.
Isolus is like a wyvern, so like a dragon with 2 hind legs and 2 wings, and it's difficult to make out in the darkness, but the scales are like cobalt blue or electric blue. The wings are kind of curled up, but obviously maybe when the companions enter the square, Isolus kind of shifts and spreads the wings just to stretch, and they are huge. You're sure that if they were to beat properly, this kind of lean-to would just evaporate in an instant.
I love it. Yes, I guess we'll keep David with Serena. Like, Serena, what do you do when you see this changed beast or changed being?
So yeah, I think Serena is going to kind of gasp in shock, and sort of raise her hand to her mouth and say, "Is that a wyvern? It's beautiful." And she's going to sort of approach Isolus. So, hello, my name is Serena. Who are you?
So I think Isolus opens their eyes, and you get this kind of eerie glimpse of, one set of eyelids opens and then the inside set opens, and you're staring into these giant golden serpentine eyes. And there's like a faint kind of whiff of sulfur coming out of the nostrils. And Isolus says, "My name is Isolus. I am the last wyvern, and you should not be seen near me, for we are despised."
Who chained you here?
The king.
Oh. What did you do to be chained like this? Did you, I don't know, capture a princess? Anything like that?
No. I am a wyvern, and that is crime enough.
In fact, like I think you hear like a very familiar like flutter of wings, and you see like this silhouette of like a crow like sort of like come to like flutter around trying to find a good place to perch, and like probably ends up perching like on top of Isolus's like head for the time being. And the crow is like out of breath and panting. And like looks very like proud again, because they totally like won the race from the clock tower back to here. And I think like makes a show of like flapping their wings. Like, 'cause they probably know that Isilus like can't fly, right? And they're like, "Oh, that felt amazing, getting to stretch my wings like that. Thank you for a good race. I knew I would win, but you know, you're welcome to challenge me again next time to see if you can beat me."
Yes, of course. I will give strong consideration to it. What? Tell me, Mr. Crow, what do you know of the king? Why would he chain up as fantastic a creature as Isilus here?
Oh, well, of course, the Crowing King loves rare, beautiful things. Which, of course, the sad is that you can't fly, which I can, of course. That's what the king. That's what the king does. He protects these rare, precious things.
I see. But Isilus does not seem to be happy here. Should he not be allowed to be free to go about his life?
Well, the Crowing King keeps you safe, right? There's also like looks down at you, and the Crowing King keeps you fed, and the Crowing King makes sure that you're still alive. What else could you want?
I do not think I should like to be locked up like this.
No?
No, it does not seem like a very fulfilling life.
Is it Lewis?
Well, Crow, step inside my mouth and I will show you what a prison looks like.
I think Crow like does a squawk and like sort of like floats off your head enough. It like sort of comes to land like on the lean-to instead, and, like cocks ahead at you. Is it Lewis?
Of course. And there's like a growing scent of sulfur. I wouldn't trust a thatched roof where a wyvern is nearby, Crow.
See Crow like like sort of get a bit like sheepish. Say, well, at least I can still fly.
I think while they were talking, Steele got some food, but like doesn't know where to put it because everyone's like arguing and stuff. it's just like holding it up there.
Ah. Ooh.
Well,
I have a question. For I guess like Isilus, which is are you perhaps like trying to behold majesty or use your broken wings or that kind of thing in this instance by like threatening this Crow?
Maybe. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I guess I'm not primarily trying to intimidate the Crow, but maybe take him down a peg or two and teach the rest of the audience more what he's like. So I guess I just straight roll, right?
Yes, unless you would like to tap into a belief of the girls. I could see pride.
Maybe the pride thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll roll 3. Oh, it's sorting. So that is a 7.
Feat on Behold Majesty. Roll when you command an audience with your presence. On a 7+, how does the audience remain fixated on you, which like you have narrative control over? And then on a 7 to 9, what do you destroy to make your presence known? Also, under your narrative control.
So I think it's obvious to the audience that if I had really wanted to, I could have snapped the crow when he was perched on my horn or whatever part of my head he was perched on. And there's like a almost mischievous grin on Isilis's maw when that happens. But I think what do I destroy? I think, yeah, maybe I do stretch out my wings and flap them when the crow is kind of tucking up his ability to fly. And that just buffets the thatch is not really well fixed, and basically all of it gets blown away with the buffeting wings.
I love it. We see like I think crow like again gets a bit like flighty as like you like go to like stretch your wings, as if like crow was like, oh crap, like maybe they can't fly. And like I think like like flaps like into the air again. It's like and again just very much like captivated by like your like much more grandiose like wings like compared to crows, like sort of like little crow ones. And sorry, did you say like what did you destroy in the process again?
So it's basically the roofing on
yes.
on the shack is all blown away.
Yeah. So we get like the roofing on the shack like sort of shakes and like trembles as like you like flap your wings, and then like sort of pulls against like the wood there, and then it's like comes like clean away, and then we see like the rest of the shack sort of like collapse. And I think crow probably even like flutters like onto like top of like the roofing there, and it's like, oh, you're gonna be in trouble. You destroyed the Crowing King's property.
Oh dear. You do appear to have destroyed your shelter. You will get quite soaked through. That can't be very good for your scales, and it would be such a shame if you were not sufficiently protected here. Perhaps we ought to take you somewhere to safety, Isilos, just until such time as this shack can be repaired again, of course. And I think she's going to kind of go over to the collar and start imagining one of those ones with like the big bolt through it sort of thing. And it's going to start working it free.
Awesome. Do you feel like you're triggering a move as you do that?
Just trying to think if I'm feeling more like
and
I think it might be. I think I probably am refusing to mind my manners, and it's probably. I know we've been kind of hating this quite a bit, but I think this probably is closest to young ladies must never tell lies, because it's she's deliberately breaking the rules essentially, and I think it's probably the closest one on there to that.
Awesome. I could also see like soiling hands and clothes if like you want to get like dirty.
That was
the
other one I was. That was the other one I was thinking. But
whichever you feel is like most appropriate to the situation.
I feel like the intent behind this is more significant than the act. I think.
Yeah, let's do it. Excellent. Like, yes, please feel free to go ahead and roll 2d6. and rebelling against the telling lies. I love it.
That's a 10.
Oh, nice. On a 7+, how do you overcome the challenge? There are no consequences. Strike out a manner and write a new belief based on what you learned about yourself or the world in the process. Excellent. So we can cross out Tim Ladies Must Never Tell Lies.
Yeah.
And then,
So, yeah, I think what she does, I think the sort of what she said is enough to kind of confuse the crow. It probably doesn't take much anyway, and he sort of doesn't really realize what she's doing until she's leaving with Isolos. At which point he probably does start, cawing out an alarm, but not until they've already started to leave the area.
That's lovely. Yes. Oh yes, dinner.
Isolus might say something to Crow, like, "I of course am giving my parole. I shall return when my shelter is repaired."
That's lovely. Oh yes, I love the idea of like sort of closing down that scene with this like sort of flustered like alarm cawing crow, and then like Isolos's like last like one liner at this like this crow before like we part this little township area. Excellent. I know we're also very overdue for our break, so how about we take let's say like at five past the hour we'll come back and we'll get to explore some more Wonderland, and then we'll wrap up today's session. So yes, I'll see you at 5 past the hour. Awesome, we're all back. Cool. So I think like yeah, I think I know what happens. So we hear like these like sort of echoic like calls from like this crow as like the group of you sort of abscond from the scene. Oh, and I think we had a move trigger, so like we'll have who hasn't played Serena for a bit. I think Asher, right? So we'll have Asher, Serena with our runaway badger, and Isilos with Steel in the background. If you want to like have Steel do a thing or trigger Steel's move, we can have Serena move to another player. That is totally cool. Just to give everyone give all the companions like a good bit of spotlight. Yeah, so I think you're like kind of like fleeing the scene of this broken down shack of like the Crowing King's property, and there's like the telltale crow like cawing for like to like alert everyone else. And I think like as you're sort of pelting through like the streets of town, the rain is like getting heavier. There's like another like really ominous like roll of thunder followed by like a very quick like crack of lightning after that. It's like the storm is like now very much overhead. And I think like you see like another young girl that looks about to be like Serena's age who like leans out from her house, and it's like very much like a freestanding sort of like townhouse looking kind of home with like a little porch out front. You can see like the water dripping off of like the eaves and like sort of pooling in the gutters. This young lady has like really she has like really like very luscious like ringlets that sort of cascade down from her head, and they're like very like white blonde. She even has like a bit of a red lip, which is like you probably haven't seen before. Or maybe like there's one or two like girls in your class that are like experimenting with makeup and stuff. And she's otherwise wearing like a very like pastel like pink sort of like summer dress, which is very at odds with like the storm that's like rolling over her head. And like she sees like the group of you like coming down the street and like sort of like beckons you in like like come. And I think she even like sort of calls out and says like, if you're looking for a place to stay, you're welcome here.
All right, I'd love a place to stay. Yeah, this place is getting kind of wild.
We have food if you want some food. And so I guess if Serena approaches, we see like this young lady like really like, beam, like her red painted smile like sort of comes like well up her like cheeks and like dimpled cheeks. And she says like, you look so drenched. Please come in. Oh gosh, you look terrible. What's come inside. I'm Ruby.
I'm Serena.
Lovely to meet you. Do you hug? Do you shake hands? Like, what kind of person are you?
I've done both.
Oh, well, I love
good.
I love hugs.
If you don't mind getting wet.
Oh, not at all. I will dry out. I just like gives you a big hug and is like, well, welcome to our home. Like, please come inside. And she like takes your hand and leads you into their house, like her house. And it has a lot of like oh yeah, you know what? It has like in the hallway there's like a tall like oil lamp stand, again like sort of showing that like really warm like glowing light from your family home. And I guess like I guess aside from that, like what other little touches are here that like remind you of your home, like your home? Pass the table, all of that. So yes. To the table, like what here like has that little touch of home about it?
Is it maybe the dining table is really crowded and there's like a whole kind of feeding time at the zoo kind of dynamic going on where it's, you know, every child for themselves, you know,
Yeah.
grab what you can kind of thing.
In fact, it is, but they're all animals, right? Like there's like the cousin that your otter is. There is like the flamingo that like your like older sister is. Yeah, that kind of thing. It's a family of animals. What else is like home here?
I think the smell of cooking coming from the kitchen, it's got that kind of, you know, yeah, when you come in from the cold sort of thing, and there's dinner being made, and it's just got that familiar smell to it.
Yeah, in fact, like what is Serena's like favorite dinner food? Because that's definitely cooking.
Oh, that's a good question.
I was thinking about the food. I was imagining like mashed potatoes, but it's like
Yes.
sweet, like ice cream.
Yes, yeah, it's like your favorite dinner and dessert in one kind of thing. Yeah, I love that. Those are really neat details. So yes, Ruby like leads you through into like the dining area, and like there's I think like there's probably one like seat shy for like all of you. And she's just like, please come eat. Like I've made the most like amazing raspberry mashed potatoes. There's a bit of strawberry in there as well, and a bit of chocolate. I went all out, but like please help yourself. And there's like a big like heaping pile of like mashed potatoes that looks like it has the consistency of mashed potatoes, but it has that look of ice cream about it, like in scoops, like big scoops, and like everyone's like grabbing plates and stuff. It's very warm, like you can hear like the fire crackle, like in the fireplace that's like abutting the kitchen area here, and like it's very light and warm, and it really like blocks out like the roiling darkness from outside. What
am I maybe it's obvious, but I'm not sure Isolus fits in the front door, right? So and she didn't seem to notice Isolus at all, or at least didn't mention it. So Isolus is maybe outside, kind of curled up under whatever little shelter that the eaves give.
Oh, that is so sweet and sad. And what is Badger doing?
So I think Badger will help himself to a bowl of food. Give a little bow to Ruby. Say, thank you, my dear. It's most kind of you. He'll say he'll sort of gesture for Serena to sit in the chair, and he's going to kind of just slink off to the side of the room. He's probably actually going to go over to like the window where Isolus is and open the window so he can stick his head in if he wants.
Oh,
and sort of like just sit up on like the sideboard, perch there to eat.
Do you share with Isolus?
Yeah, sure. I'll.
And did you want to have a scene with Isolus, or is that just like a?
No, I'm okay to just leave that as a detail for the minute. Yeah. I
love it. Excellent. So like, yes, Serena, what do you do? Like, Ruby like pushes a plate into your hands. And says, you need to eat. Like, eating is so like important. Like, you gotta get your like nutrition and like fuel in there to like be strong and healthy, right?
Of course. Maybe you could introduce me to some of the people around here.
Oh yes, of course. We have like
start eating.
Yeah, we have like Amber over there, and like gestures to like the otter, and we have we have like Rosalind over there and puts the flamingo, and she's like, oh, and you have to meet my sister. My sister is like the smartest person around here. Like, I'm not as smart as her by any means. But you know, like, I'm sure you have any like, I don't know, like interesting, cool stuff to talk about. Like, she's great. So she scampers off and like grabs her sister. And she comes back with like holding hands with another young girl, like very much the same age. Her hair is like very sort of dark plaits, very serious practical plaits, and like very like thick rimmed glasses. And she's not wearing the same like sort of bright like florals that that her sister is wearing. Has a very like sort of serious set jaw as well, and like a very like nude face. And like lowers her glasses like appraisingly at Serena, and like sort of like wrinkles her nose a bit, and says to her sister like, I wish you would stop bringing people into our house. It's way too loud and noisy in here. And Ruby's just like, oh, Rose, like, you need to lighten up and like have some fun and like make friends. This place is so like sad all the time. I just wanted to have some fun. And like sort of gets a bit stroppy. And Rose like takes a step up and just like offers a very formal handshake to Serena.
All right, I think I just ate a little bit, right? And I'll stand up and where is your room, Rose?
I have to share a room with this one over here. It's the worst. It's like upstairs, but I mean, are you sleepy? Do you want like to rest here? I mean,
If you have like a library, I'd love to see what sort of books there are.
And then you see like her brighten up at that, right? She's like, oh, well, I mean, oh gosh, I mean, I don't have a library here. My library got stolen, but I have a couple of books left over if you want to read them with me.
Sure, that sounds great.
Oh, do you want your? I mean, I guess your friends could come if they're quiet.
What do you mean your library got stolen?
Well, the Crowing King, he stole my books because I had a really rare collection, and he wanted all of it for some reason.
Sounds like we have to talk to this king.
Serena, says Isolus from the windowsill, where their chin is resting, right? Beware of the king and his advisors. They spread lies about anyone or anything that threatens them.
Are you trying to do it back to yesterday? Isolus?
Yeah. So I think we're gonna reveal something, right?
Yeah, and again, it's 2d6, and if you would like to tie in one of the girls' beliefs, you can roll with advantage.
Let me have a quick check. I'm not sure. I'm not sure there is. Unless it's the width one. I mean, where I'm urging some kind of caution or calculation. I'm not sure. If that fits.
I like that a lot. I think it fits in super well. Yeah, because you're telling her to like, don't trust, like, have your wits about you. Like, don't trust these lies that the king is going to like start at you.
Oh, so that is a 5, even with advantage.
Even with? Oh no. Yeah. So let's see. Back to yesterday. Roll when you share your kin's legends to make sense of the world. So I guess first, like, what legend do you share? And then on a 6-, what part of the story did you not share because it portends a grim future?
Yeah. So when the last king was dying, he was sick, and the young prince, who is now the king, entreated the wyverns to seek the cure for the king's illness, describing a particular flower that grew on the mountains far, far away. And so every wyvern in the kingdom except Isolus flew off to find these flowers, but they were all poisonous. And the prince had one of the prince's advisors had told him that this was the way to rid the world of the wyverns. And the part of the story that that Isolus does not share is in, I think, a long lost book that Isolus had read a report of, said that the death of the wyverns would be the only thing that actually led to the doom of the king, and he did not share that with his people. Maybe that's the book that how the king has stolen.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. Yeah, and I think as you're telling the story, right, it's like the clattering and like active like chatter slowly like becomes like a very somber, like respectful silence as you spout this story of like the death of like the wyverns and how like they were tricked to go on this like quest to like essentially like wipe them all out.
Oh, can I add something?
Yeah, go for gold.
Now everyone, the reason like being a wyvern is basically such a bad thing is because the king or the new king spread the story that the wyverns didn't want to save his father.
Ooh.
And so they just left the king die. And that's why wyverns are generally speaking thought ill of.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, in fact, I think like Ruby even like it's like just a little bit as like you tell that story, and she says like, well, I'm so sorry. I would have like invited you in if I'd known that. I always thought that dragons were the reason that everything is so sad here now. But I guess maybe we were wrong. Can I get you some more food? I apologize. I've been such a bad host.
But for
I wasn't sure by person. Oh yeah, I guess that was to Isolus.
So I think Isolus thanks Ruby, but says obviously they wouldn't fit into the room. You know, they would destroy the house if they tried to sit at the table.
Oh well, you're very considerate. Thank you very much. I didn't realize. Yeah, I didn't realize. I feel bad now. I didn't realize ribbons were so lovely. Oh gosh, and I think like Rose like does speak up a bit, like sort of playing with her plaits, and like looks to Serena and says like, well, I mean that was the prized book of my collection. I'm pretty sure the king still has it. I didn't have a chance to read it. I had so many books I wanted to read. Now I wonder if I'll get to read them at all. But I mean,
You didn't read the prize book of your collection? Seems odd.
well, I was like saving it for later. Like I had so much to read, and just you have to understand me, right? Like there are so many books to read. There are so many stories to enjoy. There are so many worlds to explore, and I was like saving that one for for later. But yeah, I mean, if you want to come and like read some of the books that I have, you're welcome to. Yeah, bring your friends and we can read some stories together.
Yeah, I'd like to hear your favorites.
Yes. Well, yeah. I can tell you some stories about the favorites that I'm missing, but yeah. So let's go. And like, I think she looks to Badger. It's just like, would you like to come read some books with us?
I mean, I'm certainly up for hearing some stories. Yeah.
Ooh, neat. So I think like Rose leads you up the stairs to like a landing there, and there's like a couple of like a hallway that leads into like a couple of different rooms, and there's like a door that has like Rose and then like a Ruby underneath it to signify like their shared like living, like their shared bedroom. And then there is I think a third door. I need another name. Let's go with oh yeah, so there's a third door with like this is like radish on it. Like next to Ruby and Rose's bedroom. And Rose like sweeps past the one that says like radish and then like opens like the door to her bedroom and like beckons for the two of you to come join her in her room.
All right, I'll come in. Yeah.
And yeah, and like it looks like half of the room is very orderly and like pristine and well kept, and like the bed is like tucked in at the perfect angles, and like you can see like there's that half on that wall of the room there's like this empty bookshelf. It's very like cobwebbed. There's like one or two like books that are kind of like half propped up like on the bookshelf, and then on the other half of the room it's like beautiful chaos. It's like there's so many like dresses, and like there's like on half of like the what do you call them, like sort of the vanity table is like half is very ordered and then half is just like lots of makeup and powder and like and what else is in her room? Yeah, like a lot of oh yeah, like her bed is like a lot of like pastel pink like draped over like the bed frame and stuff to give it like a good like nice little canopy, and it's just very like fantastical and wonderful. And like Rose like offers to like sit down, and as like she sort of like gestures her hand, like there's you probably catch like a sight of a photo frame on the table that has like 3 sisters in it instead of like just the 2 that you have met upon entering this house. The third one, I think she shares like your like auburn fiery red hair. It's like very like unkempt and like free and like flowing, and she has like these bright green eyes. And she's like smiling. And then like Rose, yeah, like I guess like offers you to like sort of gestures a hand and it's like take a seat wherever. I don't think Ruby would mind if you sat in her bed. But if you don't mind, like, please be careful because I spent a lot of time making my bed, and I just hate when things get out of order.
I think I'll ask about the city, right? Like, have you ever walked around the city? It seems like it would be difficult when it's all rainy like this.
Yeah. And she says, yeah, I mean, I try not to go out, like, leave the house too much. I kind of like to just sit inside and read, which is a shame because my collection of books is, like, very small. But yeah, otherwise, I don't know. People actually stopped leaving their houses ever since, like, the prince kind of took over. Everything's just very, it's hard to put a word to it. Very, like, heavy and dark, and, like, you said, the storm, like, those have been happening so often ever since he took over. And I don't know, this place used to be like, there used to be a lot of like festivals, and I feel like there used to be a lot more going on, but I don't know, the prince kind of took all of it and keeps it in his castle up there. Yeah, I guess.
Do you know other people? Like, did you get your books from people, or how did you collect these?
Yeah, I had a really fun time collecting all of them. Yeah, we used to get a lot of people passing through here until they stopped coming, and I picked up books from them as they were passing through. We used to have like a really nice bookstore here, but I guess the king bought all of the books, and then they kind of shut down because they ran out of books. And I mean, sometimes, like, see, Ruby's like the brave one. Like, Ruby's like the one who likes to go out there, and, like, occasionally, I mean, she gets on my nerves all the time, but she'd, like, come back from, like, going on adventures and stuff, and would, like, give me books as, like, souvenirs.
You know, you can. Oh,
No,
you can
carry on.
I was gonna say, you know, you can write your own books, right? Like, make up your own adventures and give them to other people.
I guess I would want to read about my adventures. I haven't really done anything.
So I think at that point, Badger has sort of, like, sprawled out, like, full on sort of starfish style across Ruby's bed, and he's going to kind of sit up and say, well, I've got an idea how we could go about killing two birds with one stone. If we break into the king's castle and steal back what he's taken from there, we'll be able to maybe liven things up in town a bit more again. And not only that, but maybe you could write down our story for us. What do you say, Red?
It sounds good to me, but Isla said it was dangerous, right? Not to mess with the king.
Yeah, but you see, you do have in front of you, though I may not look it, the world's foremost thief and adventurer. Why, I was in another kingdom a little ways up the coast before I came here, and there there is a mean old miser lived in a giant mansion out in the countryside, and he had stolen everybody's names. I mean, everyone's. So I disguised myself as a washerwoman, snuck up the, not that I use them very often, didn't believe in in washing his clothes until that had to be chiseled off him. He didn't. So mean he were. And I managed to purloin his collection of names, give them back out to the people, mostly to the right ones. And I'm going to trigger a move there, which is it was this big.
It's like the most amazing story I've heard ever. Please, yes.
Are you using one of the beliefs?
Yeah, no, I'll go for the wits one. The other two definitely not, because yeah.
Are you lying?
We'll find out how much is true when when I roll. That's an 8.
Excellent. So you regaled us this amazing story about how like you Robin Hooded everyone's names back. On a 7+, regale them with the story, and they in turn will divulge stories about this location. On a 7 to 9, ask a companion, which part of the story do you know is false? Ooh.
I think Isolos. I'll say what part of the story do you know is false?
And we could have Isolos like pop in their head from like a window again if you would like them to be like,
well, actually, what part of that story is false? It's also fantastical.
Sometimes the truth is even more fantastic.
Yeah. The vizier was in fact stealing the names for someone else. So there was some kind of a dark pact, and your role in this was to ensure that some of these names ended up being given to the wrong people to prevent them from fulfilling their true destiny. So I'm not sure if it's not a lie, but it's something I know about the story is false, right? So you're not misleading us. Just I have some extra knowledge about it.
Yeah, and I think like the stories that they'll divulge in return is like Rose like gets very like huddle like, okay, like this is, I shouldn't be telling this kind of like look about her, and she like casts a look to the doorway and just like, well, I mean, it's funny that you mentioned like stealing identities and stealing names, but like, please don't tell Ruby that I told you this, but our other sister was stolen by the Crowing King like a long time ago. Like, I mean, she was more or less like born the king's daughter, but she lost her way. Like she one day just, went on an adventure herself and disappeared. But she was like really, I remember her being very like, kind of like you, like sort of gestures at Badger. It was like just very like wild and like not pretty or smart. I mean, she's kind of a bit of both, but not like me or Rose, me or Ruby. And I think like the last I heard of her, she'd gone to like change her face. Yeah. there's someone. There's a place you can go to here. It's a place. It's some days travel from here, but it's from what I hear, it's a wonderful place. It's filled with like all the dancing and all like the laughter you could ever think of. I hear it's even, like I hear rumors that it's even got like a pretty decent library. It's just whatever you want, that it's there. And as far as last as I remember, Radish went off there to like try on a new face, and she never came back. But I don't know. I mean, maybe you could convince her to come back, and maybe she'd want to help out, like getting the library back, liberating the library.
Well, if you're writing our story, you have to come with.
Really? I mean, I'm not that brave.
You don't have to be brave. You have us with you.
Well, I mean, but then I would also be leaving Ruby behind. And you can tell like she really wants to go. Like she's actually like kind of like a little bit chomping at the bit to go, but you can see that she's like fiddling with her fingers and like fiddling with her plaits and looking very anxious.
Hmm. So I guess this is going against the manner to not make demands.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
So that would be, I guess, challenged by refusing to mind your manners. Name the manner you're rebelling against and roll. So this is 2d6 again?
Yes, please. Yeah.
The dice don't like me today.
Oh, what did you roll?
Another 6.
Okay. On a 6 minus, ask the GM what troubles have your actions caused. Yeah. So I guess either way, you strike out a matter and right, and you believe. And I think like you. Yeah, and I think like Ruby Rose. I guess yeah. What do you say to Rose to get her to come along? What's your pitch? I guess like you can come up to this and write your story.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And yeah, and Rose like yeah, she goes over to like her desk there and like opens the drawer and like starts like scuffling around for something in there, and she's like, well, I mean, I can go. Yes, I'll do it. I'll go with you, but we have to leave right away because Ruby is not going to like being left alone. She gets really, really scary when she gets left alone. Like, you don't want to see her when she's angry, so we have to leave right away. And promise me that when we promise to keep you safe when we return.
Of course, we need your story to be the first in the library.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's go write a story.
Well, I think I'll like jump out the window after. Is this?
Nice. Oh yeah.
Just slide down my neck. That's that totally works.
Yeah, I almost feel like is this Broken Wings? Like you could have helped us by flying us away from from this house, but you can't.
Yeah.
And then we'll wrap up shortly after we've fled the scene. Or alternatively, yeah, there is also oh yeah, let's dim it. That sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure there is a belief that hits this. What belief are we overriding never make demands with?
I have to think of it.
Okay. So I'll just roll straight. A 5.
Let's see. On a roll when you try to solve a problem by flying away, but you find yourself unable to. And a 6 minus. Why might you never fly again? Okay. So what does it look like? Is our gaggle of rebellious children clamber out the window to like climb down your neck. What happens?
Yeah, I think they slide down my neck, but then when they inevitably sort of crash into my shoulders, and then one of them falls off and kind of tears the kind of leathery wing that's stretched out between the kind of fingers, if we're kind of going with the bat metaphor for how the wing looks. So yeah, just tearing the fabric of the wing.
Oh, oh, it is so sad. I kind of like leaving on a little bit of a cliffhanger there with like our poor like injured like wyvern as these these little kids have like sort of clambered down their neck. And we probably like close out as well, like on another like roll of like thunder and like a crack of lightning, and then like we sort of see like Ruby silhouetted like against the window pane, but like her luscious like curls and stuff. She's like for like presently oh no, actually what's even a better cliffhanger is if like she hears Isalos like maybe like cry out a bit in pain, like opens like the window, and then we get to see like this look of shock on Ruby's face is like with these parted like red lips as she's seeing like all of you abscond from the household. It'll be a cool like, little cliffhanger to end that on. Neat. I know we're a little bit over time, so you're free to scamper off if you would like to scamper off. If you would like to hang around for like 5-ish minutes to do a little like stars and wishes debrief, that's also good. And then I guess any like initial feedback if like there's any like initial feedback. So yes, I guess first question: are people okay to hang around for a little bit of stars and wishes? Excellent. Second question: do you mind if we keep it like on the recording, just so like Jesse and I have it for prosperity?
Sure.
Excellent. Cool. So yes, like stars and wishes. If you're not familiar, stars are like a thing or things you liked about the session. Wishes are what you would like to see in the session coming up. And then once we've talked about that, I'll have a little like open. I have a bit of like it's open discussion about mechanics and stuff. So I'm trying to like keep it framed as in like, let's imagine this game is like finished and good, and what would you want to see in the next session? And then the next part of the conversation being what do you like, what do you not like? Cool. So let's kick off. I'll go in reverse order since we started with Asher last time. So Donna, what are your stars and wishes?
I really liked how quickly all of the companions came to life. You know, those questions seem really basic, when you're filling them out at the very start with no context. But I think everyone, Badger and Steel really leapt into life, really early on in their first scene. So I really like that. Wishes, obviously, I'm not around next week, but I wish I could play.
Well, I can easily solve that wish, which is you're welcome to come back.
No, I'm not even available, so I'm not even waitlisted. I am traveling to my
that makes me so
weekend,
sad.
so, yeah.
Oh, thank you for coming to the session. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I kept myself on the waitlist late, even though that I usually don't. If I'm not on the day before, I kind of drop off to make other plans or whatever. But I knew I was free tonight, no matter what. So I stayed on the waitlist, and I guess unfortunately, Diana. Well, she'll fill in next week for me, I'm sure. So yeah, unfortunately, I can't even join in as an extra player. So
Oh, we will miss you. Yeah, that makes me sad too. David, what are your stars and wishes?
Stars. Like I said, I think the well, I suppose that's also part of the feedback thing. But no, I think I really liked creating Serena together. That was a really, really fun bit, and I think we came up with some really nice ideas. I think the prompts were good. I often, for these sort of things, I was the same with. I'll leave that for the moment. Come back to that in the feedback. But no, I thought that was cool. It really felt like we got a good grip on Serena from the beginning. And then, to sort of echo what Don said, I think then the companions as well really felt like right for the sort of game. And I think everyone did a really nice job of just like picking the stuff up and running with it. Wishes, obviously, it's going to be a shame not having Izalas along next time. But yeah, it will be nice to see a little bit more of Steel next week coming up for their show, having a bit more freedom. That would be cool. And I suppose just seeing a bit more Peril, I guess, as well, and a bit more of the world. So that'd be cool. But I think once we get off get our adventuring shoes on, that should be good fun.
Awesome. Yes, and Asher.
Similar. I was thinking for a wish, I really want to figure out how to bring in the basketball game we described, like how she was sitting by the basketball and while other people were playing. What was I thinking? About this session. Yeah, I thought it was a really cool otherworldly thing we had going on, but it still seemed very grounded. Just not everything quite made sense. It's sort of like it was almost like very dreamy. I guess another wish is just like seeing an adventure, right? Because we have these companions, but it seemed like we were just getting to know each other this time. We weren't actually like companions on a voyage or journey or whatever. So this seems good.
Excellent. I've written all those wishes down. Yes, stats for me are like, you guys are so good. Like David, I think this is the first time we've played together, and I've been playing with Donna and Asher for like ages. So I was like super excited for this table, and then you guys blew away all my hopes and dreams. Because like you were so fantastic at like fleshing out like Serena's home life and like what her daily life is like, and then wrapping that so clearly into like the fiction. It was such a joy, like seeing all those callbacks and that kind of thing to her home life. I love all the companions so much. Like I know it's gonna be a good game, and like we start making Serena, and I'm like, I love her from like the first 5 minutes of knowing her, and then like seeing all the choices you picked for like all the companions. I was like, oh, this is gonna be such a good like gloomy, sad, lying game. And I love how much we're very anchoring into this idea of like lies and truth and that kind of thing. I'm super excited to flesh more of that out and we go on our adventures. So thank you for all being amazing. And my wishes are, like I find spotlight management in this game is very interesting because there's one extra like character for the number of players you have. So I need to, I'll for sure will spotlight Steel a lot more in the next session so we can see like all of what Steel's about. And I want to throw us into like a big scary adventure now that we've had kind of like almost like the calm before the storm, but then also kind of getting into the storm a bit. So I'm excited to see where the adventure is going to go. But that's all my stars and wishes for me. We have I can hang around for a bit more to do like some feedback if people would like some initial feedback. I guess what will make sense. I'm keen to just hear like your initial thoughts about like how you found this as like a game, like as a playtest. Feel free to just like jump in.
Yeah, I guess I'll kind of pick up like what I started going on to in the Stars and Wishes bit. But yeah, I really liked both with the sort of companion playbooks and with the girl. I liked that you had sort of the set options there to pick from for the answers to each of the questions, or most of the questions, which I think is really nice. I think it's a nice way of getting a bit of thematic control in there. Well, not control, but direction, I suppose.
Yeah.
and I think that works nice. I think because sometimes I think the kind of blank page thing can be a bit difficult to grab into it. It's like nice to have some sort of really compelling options to latch onto.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Thank you so much. Other thoughts?
As someone who kept rolling 6 minuses, I really like seeing that was defined because a lot of games don't. It kind of felt like the opposite of Trophy, just these other game, because in that you're just kind of going downhill, but here there's like no way to really fail. It felt like most you'll do is just cause more trouble, right? But it felt like very positive.
Oh, excellent. That's definitely a thing we wanted to hit on. Is like, causing trouble, not failure. I'm glad that's coming through. Do you have thoughts on it?
Yeah, so to kind of echo what David said, those opening questions for Serena, I thought were really, really strong. Both the ones that we could see on the character keeper, but also the extra ones, like about the bully and the best friend kind of stuff. And then when we started, so the kind of interesting thing is, we do a lot of effort into like the real world life of Serena, but then we have like one scene only to use those directly, and then we're through to Wonderland. So it's from a design or a GMing point of view, at least, that's mostly about like getting everyone to think about what Serena's like, but then giving you a lot of ammunition or grist for the mill for reincorporation when we get to Wonderland. So that's kind of an interesting way of going at it. I don't know how much of that is like GMing and how much of that is design, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I guess I have a question this has come to mind, which is like, would you like more time to explore that mundane kind of life, like just in free role play it out, or is that like enough just to sort of like push you into Wonderland?
I'd say that felt about right, especially given we knew we were only going to be playing a couple of sessions of it. Maybe if you were going to be playing a longer game, you could afford to sort of end the first session with going to Wonderland, but I wouldn't want any more than that, I don't think. From my perspective.
It might be cool to have like a flashback mechanic, right? If you see something in Wonderland, you can tie it back to
yeah.
Because I guess the thing you think about then is, do you have mirror images of the companions back in the real world, like in the Wizard of Oz, right? So yeah, but I think David is right. Like, we spent enough time. I just thought it was interesting that we we spent a lot of time building the real world and hardly any time playing in it. So if you did flashbacks, you could do questions of how something in Wonderland reminds you of the real world, and then maybe tie that into the nature of the companions. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be some good ideas. If you played the Between, and that's all I can think about, it's like this sort of Janus Mask thing where it's like you can like get a success to mark off by like sort of having a flashback. I don't think about that. Yeah.
Well, I think even if you weren't doing it mechanically, it might be a good, in the sort of GM principle, the Gen Z type stuff, to sort of ask them what is, ask the player what they see that reminds them of the old world, or how it is familiar and stuff. I mean, you kind of did a bit anyway, but in that
we,
one. But
we did that with the kind of dinner at Ruby's place, right?
Yeah,
like what reminds you here of home, or whatever the question was.
Especially because like so much of sorry to cut you off, like because a lot of her Serena's playbook is like, what do you fear, and like what does your home lack? So it's like that's always a good place to mine for like those feelings of like my fear is coming to the surface. So like like my anxiety about home is like coming up. That'd be interesting. Yeah, it's a really good observation. My other pointed question was like, did you enjoy writing beliefs? And then second question, did you enjoy how they're used with like as a relationship to the companions, like where the companions like draw on them to like give bonuses to their moves?
I certainly found, no, I don't think it was relevant for me early on, but when the companions first meet or girl, they don't know what her beliefs are, right? in fiction, so it could be hard to explain how it inspires them, right? But maybe that's as they grow to know her and as she develops her beliefs in front of them, that's when they become more and more powerful, or mechanically likely to roll high, right? So I don't know. But I find it really useful to think of, even in cases like we were unsure of which of the manners that we were kind of working against. In some cases, it was like, oh, it could be either of these two. But I think all of the beliefs that we wrote were really on point, and then maybe, I guess we were thinking of lies as one of the main threats, and I guess we wrote a lot of a lot of beliefs around that. So that was super cool.
I love it. Yeah, how about David?
Yeah, sorry, yeah. No, I was going to say I really like the idea of the manners and the beliefs. I think that's I really like how that works. And I really like the those girl moves that interact with it. I think that's really cool. Yeah, I think the inspiring the companions doesn't feel, it feels a bit more peripheral, but I don't think that's a problem. And like I said, I think kind of John said, I think it is more like, I think it definitely with that, it feels, I don't feel like I would want to be spending time trying to justify one. I feel like it's kind of more that if it seems that one's obvious, cool, throw it in. If not, then don't worry about it, kind of thing. But yeah, no. So I think those were. But as I said, I really like the two mechanics that play off it. Yeah, I think that's.
And do you have thoughts, Asher, about writing beliefs? I know you wrote a couple of beliefs. It's like writing beliefs and then using beliefs as a companion.
Yeah, it's kind of reminding me of Frasier's game, Never Know Best. Never Knows Best. I don't know if you've played that, but in that you
I have,
give each other like labels, right? And then you have to play into those labels to get. But here it's like playing into the girls' labels, and then we're all kind of playing the girl. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because there's no like way to mechanically help the girl right? Uh, unless there's a move around that, right? So you kind of have to play into those.
That's a good observation.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to be a companion, I feel like.
Yeah, that's a very good observation, because I think you're right. Like the nature of the relationship is very like one directional, where it's like the companions can like rely upon the girl to help them out, but then like that's not like
There's one move in the Mythic about courage, right? But it never came up.
Oh,
I guess,
actually.
yeah.
Oh,
But we
I
never really got into a perilous situation, so.
Yeah, plus I need to oh gosh. So like the reason I asked this is like the biggest deviation we had so far is the girl used to have like 3 stats, which were like courage, cleverness, and compassion, and then like the companion would like roll with like her stats. But in this playtest, we decided to like see what would happen if we took out stats. So that mythic move is like a hangover from when we had stats. So I'll rewrite it for next session, because on the off chance that Diane also plays a mythic. So I just remembered you won't be here, but yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, David.
Yeah, no, mine was sort of not directly related to the girl moves. So if you want to carry on, then that's fine.
I think you're good.
Yeah, cool. So my well, not an issue. Rick's, I think I like the look of the of most of the companion moves, or certainly the runaway ones I've looked at. I like the way they sort of interact. My only sort of concern isn't quite the right word, but is that I think it makes sense there isn't necessarily like a kind of leveling up mechanic, but it is quite sort of having like the list of moves to kind of start with is kind of just quite a lot there. I mean, I guess because there's not the same basic moves like you'd have in another PBTA, it's not a huge extra burden, but it's just like a little bit of a I didn't feel like I had a full enough grasp on exactly what I could do, sort of thing, from the outset.
That is good to hear. Yeah.
But
that is, because it's something that this game has quite a heavy load sometimes. So that's really, really good to hear that there's a lot going on for this boost, and they're all very like particular and specific to like that character as well. So they're not like sort of the intuitive sort of like PBTA. There's like the punching things move, like the figuring things out move, and then like the other like standard moves.
That was pretty much what I was going to say too, actually. But though I would say, like, you're really good at prompting us to make those moves, Lauren. So like when we were essentially moving towards those in the fiction, you obviously know the playbook moves or the combining moves pretty well. So again, that's kind of GMing, but yeah, David's point is that I had a quick look at them, but by the end of the game, I kind of knew a couple of them for sure, but that flying away move, I'd forgotten about. By the end, so yeah, that's again, I feel like playing online doesn't help usually because you've got your eyes on the screen and not on the character keeper. So yeah, that's probably, if I was playing on with 2 screens in front of me, maybe that wouldn't be a problem, but whatever. It's a common thing with online games that you're generally speaking not having the playbooks or the basic moves in front of you printed out or something like that. So
yeah, definitely. I think that's I think that Jason and I are going to like chew on is like how to, because like I only play online, so it's like having it like having that accessibility and playability like across both spaces is like a huge importance. Like this is very valuable, definitely. Trying to think about other pointed questions. If others have thoughts that have been prompted by this discussion, feel free to jump in with further thoughts.
I wonder if beliefs are like conditions, like
Oh
is there a way
yeah,
to change them or lose them?
yeah. We had to think about that too. Like we're not sure. Like it would be I kind of want a way to change them or lose them, but not quite sure. Like what is the best point to do that? We put on for the skill second move is like when you face a challenge by standing firm in your convictions, take 1 die for each relevant belief and roll. And then on a 6-, it's like it's very like lessons learned, like write a new belief based off of like your experience. But at present, there's again a way to like sort of rewrite them or lose them. Would you guys be interested in like having an ability to like revisit some of these like beliefs and reword them and tweak them like as you navigate Wonderland?
I wonder if that's somewhere you could make room for the companions to help the girl develop, right?
Ooh, yeah.
You know, like a lot of the companions have some move whereby they kind of help the girl or, you know, influence her way of thinking. So you could have like an or statement on a 10+ or something like that to say, you know, if the girl agrees or whatever, that they can, you know, rewrite one of their beliefs or whatever it is, unlock that again or something like that.
I like that a lot. That's super neat. Ooh, that's a good idea. Thank you.
Yeah, or maybe if you express the original manner, then you'll lose the belief.
Oh yeah, interesting. Yeah, like if you
like
start.
if you regress to being a good girl.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be interesting. Ooh, I'll have to think about that one. That one's I like that a lot.
The other, again, unrelated, so if anyone has anything else to say on that, jump in. But I really like the way you have like the shared girl character and the companions. I like it a lot. The only thing I thought might just like there are a couple of points where I thought it might actually be quite nice if sometimes the GM took over control of the girl just to allow all of the, because it's always a pain when you're trying to like, I mean, it's usually the standard GM problem where you're trying to run 2 characters at once, but you kind of, I feel like there are a couple of points where it's like, yeah, you know, I might have wanted to jump in while I was controlling the girl. I might have also wanted my companion to jump in, but without like forcing it onto one of the other players, so that we could kind of have, you know, the whole party together. So it might be quite nice sometimes just for the GM to take control of the girl as well. Just to get that kind of, you know, that conversation sort of thing in there.
In Good Society, there is a mechanic where when you have NPCs that you control, and if they're in a scene, you just give them to someone else. So I'm not sure, you know, which character you give up, but yeah, maybe doing your companion because they're not shared normally, and then passing the girl to the GM would be a good way to share the load.
That's a really good idea. I think I noticed those points where it was like, I think I too was like, oh, I could feel there needed to be a conversation with everyone, but I was like, it's impossible. So, that's a really, really good idea. Like, especially because the girl has these beliefs and is so defined. It's like, as the GM, I've got a lot of tools that I can use to reflect like what how you've developed her so far back at you to like see what.
I mean, this is kind of it, because they're a sort of a collaborative character in the first place. It doesn't feel like as much of a sort of imposition or whatever as it might do otherwise. And I think there'd be, like I said, probably not when you're doing like big action scenes or that sort of thing, but just like I said, when you're just having like sort of quieter conversation scenes sort of things, it might be quite.
That's a really good idea.
Nice.
Yeah, I will take that on board. That's really good. That's really, really good feedback. Ooh. Excellent. I don't think I have any other burning questions, but are there other thoughts before we wrap up? Because I know I kept you very much over time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go Ash.
I don't know if we were playing into the principles so much. That's what I feel.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I have to review those or something.
I think again, I feel like there's a lot going on. So like it's like manners plus like moves plus like principles. So I think at the moment there's still a lot of load going on there. And then the principles are kind of like, when you have those moments of like, oh, I don't know what I should be doing, then like they're there to sort of like help like guide people. And I think everyone did a super good job embodying Serena. So yeah, that's a good point. Awesome. Well, I might stop the broadcast. Bye, Jesse. Thank you for watching. And thank you, everyone.